Welcome back. Now I'm trying to show you Tails, which is a bit more difficult because I can't run it on the same system where I run my recording software. Because everything I do, as I discussed before, only runs on the RAM. I don't have any access to a hard drive. So that makes it quite unique. So what I have done now is I used a camera and I show you the laptop I'm using. So here you see my hand, that's me. And you see that I started the laptop, it's running as it should. It would not ask me to enter a password to actually get access to it and simply boot a standard Windows operating system. I don't want to do this. What I want to do now is without any login, I want to use a USB stick with my Tails operating system and boot it on my USB stick. Now, depending on your laptop, and you have to check with the respective manufacturer, when you shut down the laptop, just a standard shutdown, and reboot your laptop, you have to press a key to go into the option for booting from a USB stick. Now with a Toshiba, it's usually press and hold the F12 key. In other laptops, it's different. It could be an F10, could be anything else. You have to always check with your respective manufacturer. So Toshiba tends to be F12. Okay, so now here it is. So that is my operating system. I now plug this little USB stick into my laptop. It's important to note, do not run your Tails while your operating system is running. Yeah, so we don't do this. Yeah, so what we do first is, let me just shut this all off just to be on safe side. So nothing is recorded. We shut this all off. So now the laptop is off. I plug in, just press and hold it just to make sure it's all off. Now we are completely off. I plug it into the USB port. Here we go. So we are plugged in. I now switch on and immediately press and hold F12. Let me just do that. I press and hold F12. And fingers crossed, this now gives me a different boot menu. You see that now. Yeah, so that's pretty good. You should have an option to go to USB flash disk. Yeah, and this is what we do. So we now boot from our USB. Now note, I did not log into the laptop. So basically I can do this on any laptop, also laptops I do not own, I do not control. So here we are, I log in. Okay, so now you see the start screen, and of course you see now some reflection. Unfortunately, this is unavoidable. It's a little bit tricky to capture this properly. And we should be in Tails in a few minutes. So again, I switched off completely. After switch off, I plugged in my USB stick. I restarted and immediately pressed and held the F12 key. And now we are starting our Tails, and here we get our start screen. Here we are, and you get now various options in terms of language use and format. I just stick to default. Default is always good. I have a persistent storage because I wanted to save my Wi-Fi settings, but you don't have to do this. Yeah? So if you start without persistent storage, the benefit is nothing is anywhere. Yeah? It's only running on RAM. So I saved some of the settings I use, so I have to log into this. Yeah, so now do a little login here. Hopefully I remember, I'm not so sure anymore. Let me just try to unlock this. It might not work, I might not remember. Okay, so cannot unlock. Okay, I might have forgotten this, that's quite possible. I'll try it one more time. No, it doesn't work. See, that's the trouble if you forget what you have put in. Let me try it one final time. No, I forgot. Okay, nothing I can do about it now. Anyway, I just try to start it now without that. Which is fine. Doesn't matter. That happens when you don't use it very frequently. So now it should start and boot. So here we are, and now we are in. Yeah, so again you see I don't really control this laptop, and it still starts, and I can now use it as I would use any other laptop. Of course, it's a different operating system. It's all Linux based, but it works. It's not very, you can still use the graphical user interfaces to get into applications and so on. So up here you have your Tor browser. Yeah, so for the obvious access to the clear net and the dark web. We have documentation, which is really useful. We have standard Office applications. Yeah, so they can be used simply to, just for scripting, for writing. They're pretty alright, honestly speaking. You have some programming tools as well. And then standard stuff like system related issues. We can open a terminal, so we can run this like any other Linux operation. So that's pretty useful. And we have several utilities here as well. So that's quite a good stuff. So it gives you a basic setting of tools that are useful. And what you also see in here, if we go to the internet, you see the instant messaging service Pigeon. We talked about this before. That also works, and you have a link to a wallet for Bitcoin, which again is useful. It's already installed, and you see what is called unsafe browsing. So now you can of course ask yourself, why would you ever like to use unsafe browsing if the whole purpose of Tails is to use the Tor network? The answer is very often when you connect to the internet, you need unsafe browsing to identify yourself. So one example would be if you use, say, if you're sitting in a hotel lobby and you use the hotel Wi-Fi, you need an unsafe browser first to verify yourself and log into the Wi-Fi. Once, of course, you're online, you switch to Tor. Yeah, so sometimes that's necessary to operate Tor. So, but otherwise, you have all the standard features you would expect on other operating systems. So it's pretty useful, I would argue, and definitely after a few sessions you will be able to navigate properly. At the moment you see we are not connected to Tor because we don't have Wi-Fi yet. So now we have to configure Wi-Fi because I didn't store it properly. But that is would require me now to get my Wi-Fi key, which I have to find first. I have it somewhere. In places you basically see where we store things. Yeah. So if we go to into documents, you see where things are stored. Now the important thing to note is that actually nothing is really stored, except you switch on your persistent storage, but otherwise nothing is stored. Whenever you download anything, it goes into your downloads, but this again is you see here amnesia, so this is not permanent, so nothing will be stored. Yeah, so anything you download now, any pictures, any music, won't be stored long term, only for this particular session. Yeah, and again, we are not here with any persistent storage. If you switch on your persistent storage, then things are different. Yeah, then you would be able to actually see that here. Okay, so that's a quick run for our first session on Tails, and I see you in the next